Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to All Chiefs Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. And all day long yesterday, Steve, there was a lot of Chris Jones contract extensions, misinformation. It caps off the evening with Chris Jones saying he's not a fortune teller. Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm not a fortune teller either, but I know that 95% of you guys haven't subscribed to the channel. If you're watching, hit that sub button. Help us get to 20K before the season ends. Hit the like button. Get this beautiful podcast out to more Chiefs fans so we can have some fun. Mike, Chris Jones is no damn fortune teller, but he knows that he's under contract for this coming year.
He does. I'm just going to bring that up. Here's the tweet. He wrote, "Stay strong and carry on." Holly, Chiefs Nana, says, "Chris, this cryptic tweeting is making us nuts." Okay, me. It's making me nuts, LOL. I just need a yes or no, preferably a yes. And he writes, "I'm under contract for one more year. I'm no fortune teller. Let's enjoy this year." This comes right after today, Steve. Nate Taylor of The Athletic comes out with a wildfire story, and here it goes. "The clock is ticking for Chris Jones and the Chiefs. Who will blink first and when?" This article, Steve, I had to pay money to read this. Do you think I paid that money?
No, hell no.
That's garbage. I ain't paying to read that. Sorry, Nate Taylor. Enjoy your work, but I'm not paying to read that garbage because I already know what you're going to say. So I went over here to heavy.com, Heavy on Chiefs. Devin Clements writes, "Chiefs draw clear line in contract talks with Chris Jones report." And he tells me what he says for absolutely free. He says the Chiefs, according to a league source, are unwilling to make Chris Jones the league's highest paid defensive tackle, Taylor wrote.
Wow.
The franchise, which has played in 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls, winning 2, doesn't have a single player who is the league's highest paid at his position. They say that like a badge of honor. Like it's prideful that we don't pay players here.
Like it wasn't completely obvious that that was a thing. Chris Jones never asked to be the top paid defensive tackle in football. He wants to be at $30 million. That's where he started his negotiations,
right?
Pretty sure. And Aaron Donald makes 32. So put 2 and 2 together here, and that story was BS. But man, did it get Twitter going.
It got Twitter raging today. We even seen more people hop on the Chris Jones train. The old trade Chris Jones, we don't need him because that's the new thing now. Chris Jones did not ask to be the highest paid. He's never asked to be the highest paid. He's always said second or somewhere in the ballpark. Look, you're not getting Chris Jones for no less than probably 26, and look, the Chiefs don't want to pay him 32. They're not going to set the market with him at 32 million or 32.1, whatever it would be to beat Aaron Donald.
Right.
Big deal. Pay him 28 or 29 and be done with it. How about we just stop this posturing back and forth with Chris Jones saying this, a sports writer saying this, Brett Veach over here hum-hoing around over this, me and you saying something else, somebody on Twitter saying, let's shut up.
Right.
Let those 2 guys work it out and get it done. It's going to happen because you would be so stupid to trade Chris Jones. I'm so tired of hearing that.
Yeah, it's pretty ignorant. But the thing that everybody keeps parroting now is you just pay him this year. He's already under contract. And then you tag him next year, and then you let him walk because he's going to be like 31 years old.
Right.
That's what they're all saying. Mike, I'm no salary cap genius. I'm not Brett Veach. But if you do the math, if you pay him $28 million for this coming year,
right,
and $32 million for next season,
right,
on the tag, that is an average of $30 million a year, which you said you would never pay Chris Jones ever
because
why? We have to sign Creed Humphrey, and we have to sign Nick Bolton and Trey Smith and Willie Gay and L'Jarius Sneed. First off, guys, L'Jarius Sneed, I highly doubt that he is in the plans of the Chiefs' future.
Yeah,
I do not think they even care because they have so many good young cornerbacks.
Wait. You think Sneed's somewhere like, man, I wish to play for the Chiefs next year? And Brett Veach is like, no, he's out.
No, but honestly, I don't think that they are planning on moving forward with Sneed. Like with the money situation they have right now, Sneed's going to garner too much.
The corners are
too many good corners, and Chiefs never pay the corners, right?
But you know what you can't cheap out on? You can't cheap out on the pass rush. We cheap out on wide receivers. We cheap out on all kinds of weapons for Mahomes. We've even tried to cheap out on offensive line. We've tried to cheap out everywhere. You can't cheap out on pass rush.
Look, man,
you got to draw the line somewhere.
If you give Chris Jones a big extension, you don't have to pay him $28 million this year. You don't have to pay him $32 next year.
Right.
You can make it to where he gets a certain amount of guaranteed money, but he takes less in the first 1, 2, 3 years of his contract. And that frees up money to sign Creed Humphrey,
Otherwise,
Nick
by
Bolton,
the way,
Trey Smith.
Like you said, $30 million this year, $30 million next year average, and you're paying him out this year, and you're doing 32.5 on the cap next year. That's all cap hit. Boom, boom, boom. You can't restructure that at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think people understand the salary cap. They just don't get it.
They don't.
But
I don't fully understand it, Mike, but I can add 1 + 1 = 2, and that's all it takes to see how ridiculous this is. Chris Jones even saying, hey, I'm under contract. I'm not a fortune teller. I mean, it's just getting silly anyway, because I don't think he even believes that that's going to be how it is. It just makes no sense for the Kansas City Chiefs to pay him $30 million average over the next 2 years and then let him walk. When they have all these guys they've got to be signing, they need to free money up, not pay more money.
I think that is absurd. I think if you were going to do that and this was your plan, if this is Brett Veach's grand plan that I'm going to pay him 28 this year and 32.5 next year, or I'm going to tag him and then trade him for 1 first-round pick. There's people even saying that Chris Jones isn't even worth a first-round pick next year.
How stupid can you be? How stupid can you be?
People have gone crazy. This Chris Jones thing is driving Chiefs Kingdom beyond mad. Wake up.
Hey, you. Look at me.
Get up.
Look at me right now. Chris Jones is the Kansas City Chiefs defense in a nutshell. It would be completely different without him.
Steve.
What?
They don't get it.
Michael.
They don't get it.
Hey, shh. Guys, Chris Jones is the Kansas City Chiefs defense right now in a nutshell. It would be a completely different defense without him. They would not be as good. Don't start screaming about sacks in the playoffs. He didn't have one until he was 29 years old. I don't care about any of that. What I do care about is the fact that he puts so much pressure on the quarterback every play. Do you realize that Chris Jones has averaged 25 pressures? I'm sorry, let me take that back. 25 quarterback hits a season in the last 5 seasons. All that pressure is why you were able to win a Super Bowl with 5 rookie defensive backs.
I hear all day long.
All that pressure is why Nick Bolton is setting records
all day long
for the Chiefs as a linebacker.
All day long on X, formerly known as Twitter. All day long I hear Chris Jones never even showed up in either Super Bowl. Chris Jones.
If you're on the side of the fence that you don't want to pay Chris Jones a big bunch of money, whatever. That's cool. You can have your opinion.
Hey,
but
take your wrong opinion and go.
You're wrong. You slap nuts.
You're out. Quit being a slap nuts. Wake up. Okay, look, you got to pay Chris Jones. You got to get it done. Brett Veach has got to stop being a slap nuts, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not about saying, what are you doing? Oh, he's calling Veach.
Brett, hey, wake up, man. I know you're not doing anything anyway. You need to go ahead and pay Chris Jones and quit being a slap nuts.
He hung up on you.
No, I'm serious. Seriously,
hey.
Get it done. Get it done, son.
Hang it up.
Get it done.
Hang it up. We're not talking to Veach anymore.
Okay.
He didn't match our offer last night to give to Chris, so he's out. Here's what I'm going to say, though. Last thing I'll say on Chris Jones. Trading him seems to be stupid. In my opinion, it doesn't make any sense. Tagging him doesn't make any sense.
None of it makes sense, Mike.
Letting the quarterback of our defense, letting the 4th pillar of this dynasty continue to be a Chief, get it done. Pay it.
You know what else makes sense?
Out on the pass rush.
You know what else makes sense?
What?
Don't piss off your quarterback that left money on the table for guys like, quote, from Mahomes, Chris Jones. For the love of God, get it done.
What Steve said.
That time's yours.
Time's yours, Chiefs Kingdom. Time's yours. I'm pretty sure because the hot topic's been Chris Jones all day, every day now for 2 or 3 days. I really wish we'd get the football playing because I'm tired of being a GM.
We're so close, baby. We're so close.
We're close. But let's see what happened in our last video, which was also about Chris Jones. Here we go. Yogi, our boy Yogi, by the way.
What up,
Shout
Yogi?
Out Yogi. Legendary
Yogi's
for
a man.
Yogi. Legendary. He says, people keep trying to play GM. I just said that, Yogi. I said, I'm tired of playing GM, my man. I'm tired of it. I don't get paid enough. Back to the comment. Without having a clue of our short-term and long-term cap situation and goals. Now, myself, I'm only speculating, but I think Veach is trying to get CJ done with the intention to get Creed and Bolton done next year. I don't think Snead is a plan moving forward. Daggone it,
wow.
Yogi. It sounds like Yogi listens
mind.
to All Chiefed Up. It sounds like he listens to us.
I think he does.
But Yogi has a mind of his own. If we weren't here, he'd still come up with this idea himself. He's Yogi. He says, that being said, I don't think Veach will lay down and let CJ walk all over him because the team always comes first, I'm presuming, and the ball is in CJ's court right now. I just can't predict how far CJ wants to push the issue and if he's willing to leave the kingdom for a few more millions in the bag. Steve, I did a live yesterday, or not a live, what's it called, a Twitter space?
An X
Mark
space.
Gunnels. You guys know Mark Gunnels. He invited us over for a Twitter space. Pay attention to those if you see us on X. It's an X space now. We're never going to get over the Twitter X thing. It's weird. But by the way, be sure and check that out. It's pretty awesome. We did that yesterday. We're probably going to do more in the future. So if you're on X, go ahead and find those. Anyways, people were on there saying that, I'll bring it up. Everybody's on here saying that this exact quote where it says the ball is in CJ's court right now, because they keep saying that they think that Chris Jones has all the leverage here. I think Veach has way more leverage than Chris Jones, Steve.
I believe so too.
He has
to. Do you know why I think that Veach has more leverage than Chris Jones? You know my honest opinion? Because Chris Jones loves Kansas City. He loves playing for the Chiefs. He loves his teammates. He loves the fans. He wants to retire in Kansas City. He said that before. He don't want to go anywhere else. But Chris Jones don't want to get ripped off either. Right. So he has to play a little bit of hardball. It's just how it is. And I think Chris Jones knows that if he can get an extension done that equals 4 or 5 years, he can pretty much end his career in Kansas City. Exactly what he wants to freaking do.
He wants to end it in KC, Steve. I firmly believe he wants to end it in KC.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Yogi said that Chris Jones had everything, by the way. He just said the ball's in his court right now, which means it's up to CJ.
Yeah.
Take what Veach gives you, do whatever. Don't ask for this. People are coming out saying crazy stuff, by the way. CJ's asking for $35 million. CJ wants 17 years on his contract. Nobody knows.
I like my favorite quotes are the ones where they're like, man, screw Chris Jones. He's so selfish. He's trying to crash the Chiefs into the ground. Yeah, I'm sure that's what he did. He woke up after winning his second Super Bowl with the franchise and like, you know what? These guys have done nothing for me.
He said,
I'm going to see what I can do today to screw up a dynasty.
Burn this effort to the ground. That's what I'm doing.
I don't want to be a part of anything historic.
Dude.
I want to be like my friend Tyreek Hill.
Again, everybody just needs to chill. Comment number 2, Jay Kelsey. What is up, Jay Kelsey?
What up, Jay?
He says, yes, I hope he gets signed for around 28-ish and retires a Chief.
Yes, sir.
Kelsey.
That's what's going to happen.
And I say this. I think it's more about guaranteed money. I think you could get away with giving him maybe 4 to 5 for about 100, 105. And I think if you give him about 75, 70 guaranteed, I think he's fine, and I think he's here. I don't think that's a problem. Comment number 3, Real Blooded Chief says, top defensive tackles play well into their 30s. Steve, this is a common comment we get with Chris Jones. Well, he's about to be 30. You can't pay a 30-year-old that. What?
Yeah, we've heard that a lot.
Should Chris Jones just go ahead and Steve, should he just go ahead and report into the retirement home, I'm guessing, because I don't even think he'll be able to tie his shoes.
Well, I wonder what those same people would say about 32-year-old Aaron Donald, because they're quick to say that he's like the greatest thing ever and that he's better than Chris Jones, and Chris Jones shouldn't get paid what Aaron Donald does because Aaron Donald's a freak. Yeah, well, he's 32, and Aaron Donald's not done yet. He's still going to have another good season this coming year.
What do these same people say about ancient 33-year-old Travis Kelce? I mean, He's damn near on a walker out there. He's getting ready to turn 34.
He got a hover around for his birthday, I think.
And he had a bad knee injury early in his career. So he's hopping on one leg.
He smoked a lot of weed. His brain's giving out on him.
He's high as a kite right now. He's El Travador. That's what he is.
They call me El Travador.
Oh, we had the El Travador one. Steve, you're going to like that in the editing process. Let's move on.
Appreciate it.
Robbie Lawson says, love y'all's channel, man. So glad I found y'all. I'm hype as hell for the return of football. Steve, me too, man. The first preseason game was last night. I don't even know who played. Don't even care. And it wasn't the first, by the way. I forgot the Hall of Fame game. That was very forgettable, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. But we're glad that you found us too, Robbie. So you should hang out more often and get in the comments more often. And if you guys haven't done that yet, if you haven't hit that sub button, hit it. Get in the comments.
Do it. Robbie, appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Last comment of the day. Michael Lee James. I almost said Michelle, and I'm sorry. I said Michael Lee. That happened to me once when I was a child, and I cried.
When you were graduating, kindergarten or 6th grade, or what was it?
It was kindergarten. My principal said, Michelle Williams, and I said, oh, my God, this is going to be the worst life
Scarred
ever.
you for life.
Scarred me for life. I survived,
Did you trip on the way to get your little diploma?
No. I puffed it out, and I held back a tear the whole way. Here we go. Great show. Everyone else is going negative, and you guys are keeping it positive. Keep it up. You know what? That's one of the first times anybody's ever said me and Steve are positive
Right.
on this show. Apparently, me and Steve are the most negative people to ever walk because we have a brain and we see how it works.
If you talk about real issues with the Chiefs, like, we know that they're the greatest franchise in the world right now. There's no better team to be a fan of right now than the Kansas City Chiefs, right? The greatest. The greatest. But either way, man, I just don't get it. You talk about real issues. You can talk about these things, and you can give your opinions, even if they're not popular, and that doesn't mean that you're negative.
Steve, he said we're positive, though.
We are positive.
We are. And
I'm
especially
positive
about
Chris Jones is going to be here. I'm positive they're
Exactly.
going to get an extension done. I'm positive something's going to happen that's good for the Chiefs, because with Chris Jones, man, we win more Super Bowls.
I'm positive Chris Jones is going to ball out this year. I think he's going to get 18 sacks. I think
He's going to hit so many quarterbacks like he hit that TV in the DirecTV commercial.
Dude, he's going for at least 18 sacks. He's actually going to put his actual sack on Joe Burrow again this year. Sack on the back, Jack, and that's how we're doing it. And with that, time is yours, Steve. Let's jump right into this. Charles Goldman. Charles Goldman, by the way, left the Chiefs wire, but he's at A to Z Sports right now. Congrats, Charles.
Very
He
nice,
put out
Charles.
his 53-man roster projection ahead of preseason week 1. So he goes out and he says, hey, let's look at this roster, and I'm going to try to project it before we even see a preseason game. Very bold, Charles. Very bold. Let's critique Charles, shall we, Steven? Can we critique Charles? I don't know. He might be smarter than we are. Here we go. Quarterbacks, 2. He takes Blaine Gabbert, Patrick Mahomes, and he puts Shane Buechele and Chris Oladokun out.
Don't they have to have 3 now? Didn't they make a rule?
You don't.
Like where they can have an extra spot?
You have to have 3 to be able to use that new QB rule. That the you know what I mean? Like basically
I don't know.
the QB
What
has
is
to
the
be on
rule, I guess?
roster.
I guess that's what I should have asked. I know that San Francisco 49ers cried
Right.
so much they got a rule change, but what was the actual rule change?
The actual rule change is, I know I'm probably going to be wrong. You guys are going to be in the comments tearing me up. But from what I remember of it was that you can bring up an extra quarterback, but they do have to be on your roster. They cannot be on your practice squad going into the week. So you cannot pull from your practice squad the day of and bring them on. Like they got to be on the
I thought they were
53
given
man.
like an extra roster spot, but it had to be for a third quarterback.
It might be. It's something like that. There's so many new rules and
Yeah,
stuff.
anyway, I'm
we'll
confused.
Look into it.
Onward.
But I would say Shane Buechele's probably going to be on this team, in my opinion. Okay, running backs. He takes 4, as always. He takes Pacheco, McKinnon, Clyde, and Deneric Prince. I agree.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with this. Out LaMichael Pirine, and he counts Jerry and Ely as an out here because, let's be honest, Ely is a slash running back slash wide receiver, and I think it's hard to make the roster either way. I do feel like this is another year for Ely to be on the practice squad, Steve, but
Yeah.
at some point, man, is Ely just going to go? Like, is somebody going to take a shot on this kid? Is somebody going to do something? Are they going to see what we see? Because I think Ely could be a Jerick McKinnon replacement in time, which could be as early as next year.
I've been saying it, man. You know I've been saying it. Hell, I had the Chiefs drafting Jerry and Ely in the 7th round, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's ever going to come to fruition, but I do think it's a big-time possibility. I know the guy is capable of doing it. And like I've said, I'd love to see him be able to get in, get some snaps, work with Jerick McKinnon before Jerick's gone, and get in there and replace him, because everybody loves Jerick McKinnon in Chiefs Kingdom. Do we not? We all love him. I know you guys love him. They thought the fact that he slid down before he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, which was like literally probably what everyone was yelling in the huddle, like, if you get the ball and they're letting you in, you go down, right? And then like Jerick McKinnon doesn't, and everybody's like, he's a freaking genius, bro.
That
He's
is designed, by the way. That's called like church or
everybody
pray or
knows.
something like that. It's called
Everybody
like church
knows.
or something. And you hit the ground. Yes.
But yeah,
Okay,
what I'm saying is everybody loves Jerick McKinnon. They love his role, and I think that Jerry and Ely could definitely take it over.
I'm with
but
you.
Let's hope he goes to the practice squad this year. He sticks around, and next year he gets a shot.
I'm with you. Let's move on to tight ends. Right now he's at 6 players on the roster. He takes 4 tight ends. He takes Kelsey, Noah Gray, Jody Fortson, and then surprises everyone. But it's not really a surprise. Chiefs Kingdom has been on this for a while. They all think Blake Bell's gone and Bushman is in.
Do you think this could be like the biggest nut check for the Chiefs Kingdom is when Matt Bushman does not make the squad and Blake Bell does?
Could be. I still think it's open. I still think it's how it is. But you guys have got to remember this. Again, not written in stone, but the depth chart come out yesterday, and Jody Fortson was the 4. Blake Bell was the 3. So now Jody Fortson's going to jump Blake Bell, and Blake Bell's just completely going to leave the team. We'll see. I don't find anything that crazy with this so far, though, Charles.
No.
I'm appreciating you. Let's go on to wide receiver. Let's see what he does here. He takes 7, Steve. And who does he take? He takes the exact 7 that we said they were going to take
well
probably
done, Charles.
2 months ago. Appreciate you, Charles. He backs us up. He makes us not feel stupid because everybody said we were stupid that we were going to take 7 wide receivers, because that was when everybody jumped off the Justin Ross train after being on the Justin Ross train. Yeah. Let's go on to offensive line.
And back on? And back.
We're back on.
And back
We're
off.
back on. Offensive line, he's taken 8. This is wild, man, because I'm telling you, I thought last year was 9, and then I even thought this year could be 10 with all the craziness. But here's what he says. Donovan Smith, Tooney, Creed, Trey, and Jawan Taylor. That's the starters. He takes Allegretti, Wanye, and Steve, he takes Caliendo and Boots Kennard off the roster, Boots Winogo off the roster, and I will gladly boot Lucas Nyang off the roster. So he's taking Caliendo over Darian Kennard at guard. And he says, nay, Prince Tago, we're only taking 8. You got to go 2.
Charles.
I don't know about this one. This is where I feel a miss came.
You missed the mark here, Charles. There's absolutely no way that they let Darian Kennard and Prince Tago both go. There's no way. They'll be on another team. Darian Kennard, I think, is who they're planning on being that backup just in case they can't get something done with Trey Smith. I think Darian Kennard, I think his name's written all over that position. If they get to the point of having to re-sign all these guys that everybody's been talking about with the Chris Jones thing, you have to sign Creed Humphrey, you have to sign Trey Smith, Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, L'Jarius Sneed, I don't know, name 50 different people. They have to sign them, right? Well, what if Trey Smith is the one where they're like, Darian can do 90% of what Trey's doing right now?
Steve.
What if we move on from him and put him there? I don't think they're going to let Darian walk. It's just not going to happen.
Right. Well, today on X, formerly known as Twitter,
you got it right, baby.
I posted something that said that 2024 free agents, and I put them in order. I said, number 1, you have to take care of Chris Jones. He's number 1, and he's number 1 by a mile. The pitchforks came.
Of course.
You don't need him. Number 2, I put Nick Bolton. Number 3, I put Creed. You would have thought the world would have ended that I did not have Creed Humphrey as number 2 and borderline number 1. Very strange. Seems as Nick Bolton don't get any love, even from Chiefs Kingdom.
Well, I mean, that's just how it's been, right? I mean, we even had people like Zach Eisen or whatever his name is. I think he's Arrowhead Addict. He hates Nick Bolton. He thinks Nick Bolton sucks. How clueless can you be to think that Nick Bolton sucks? Like, you have to not know football from the back of your, I don't even know. He wouldn't know his asshole from a hole in the ground, Michael. That's what I think.
A lot of people were saying Trey Smith was also above Nick Bolton, as in the order, the pecking order of how we have to do it. Yes, I understand this.
And I also understand that Chiefs Kingdom is not perfect, and there are a lot of slapnuts out there. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
I get it.
Charles, I will say this one for you. I don't agree. I'm with you with Caliendo.
I think they're going to take 9.
I
think they're going to take 9. I don't think Caliendo is going to make the team, and I think the ones that you're going to see on there are probably Darian and Prince. And then on the practice squad, you're probably going to see Jerome Carvin, in my opinion. Maybe Caliendo.
Carvin has a good possibility. Let's move on to the defense really quick. Defensive line, he takes 10. Karlaftis, Dana, Felix, Kando, Herring, Chris Jones. Oh, Chris Jones. What? Derek Noddy. Daniel Wise makes the roster. Turk Wharton and Keandre Coburn. He drops out Danny Shelton, who was number 2 on the depth chart. B.J. Thompson, who is a rookie they have traded up for. And Truman Jones, who has also been coming on pretty good in the preseason here so far. Before we play a game, by the way. Steve, I'm not buying the Daniel Wise hype.
Me neither.
I don't think I'm buying it.
I'm not either, and I'm not buying that B.J. Thompson won't be on the roster. I'm sure there's a chance that he might not.
And I think I'm with you.
I'm with you, though. If you trade up for somebody in the 5th round, I don't think you'd just be like, hey, nay, go to the practice squad.
I'm sure nobody else will try to get you off there.
Right. I don't think that's going to happen. It could.
I don't see it either.
I'm not completely 100% saying that won't happen because it's a possibility, but I just wouldn't think that.
Again, this is all prefaced by his he said he was going to do something a little different, and he's also doing this before we've even seen a preseason game. So, but yeah, the Daniel Wise thing, I'm not really digging, and I'm not digging the cutting Darian Kinnard crap. I'm not down.
Absolutely not. That's
Kinnard
silly.
is our boy. We'll bring him on here, and we will talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about linebacker, Steve. He has Nick Bolton, who a lot of people think shouldn't even be on the team, apparently. Drew Tranquil, who they think now is the best linebacker we have by far. Willie Gay, Leo, and Jack Cochran.
That's
so
it.
He hits
That's
the
good.
exact 5 we have hit. That makes complete sense. Let's move on to corners. Corners, he takes 6. Snead McDuffie, Watson Williams. He takes Nick Jones, and now he has put Echo Boy-Doe on the roster in place of Najee Johnson and takes off DiCaprio Boodle, Khalif Hallisey, Reese Taylor, Lamar Jackson, Anthony Witherstone. Steve, we kind of said this yesterday. If they take 6 corners, is Echo going to be able to outmaneuver DiCaprio Boodle or Khalif Hallisey?
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the Echo Boy-Doe hype.
He's not buying hype.
No, I think Khalif Hallisey's going to sneak his way on here. He's been low key. Like, you
Khalif's
haven't heard a
gonna
lot
make the
about Khalif.
roster?
You haven't heard a lot about Khalif. But if they're going to take him before Echo, I think
That's bold.
it might be bold, Michael,
Dave,
but that's
you're
what I'm
gonna
going
pitchfork
with, baby.
Up the
Look, bring it back
a-hole
up. Bring it back
is
up.
what you're about to get from everybody.
Bring out your pitchforks. I'm not afraid of your pitchforks.
I would think
You can
here
stick
what
them
they
up your
could
butthole.
do. Najee is always Najee was drafted as a safety. He can play corner, right?
Right.
It makes sense here to go ahead and put Chamari Connor in over Echo Boy-Doe as a corner and be able to take your 4 safeties, which let's go ahead and lump safeties in. He has Reed, Cook, Edwards, and Connor, but he drops Deion Bush in place of Connor. But look, I think Connor can make the team over Boy-Doe, and then you essentially have a 5th safety and you have a 4th or a 6th.
Right. So
corner.
do you want? Is that what you want to do though? Like,
That's what I want to do.
because what you look at here is, would you rather have Bush, Boy-Doe, or Hallisey? That's kind of where you're at.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
depends on how you want to mix it up, right?
Right. Well, from here we go. Okay, look, Connor's making the roster either way. The funny thing is, they traded up for Chamari Connor in what was it? The 4th round?
Round four.
Okay, and he's definitely on, even though we haven't heard a word from him.
Yeah, he'll be on
Barely.
the squad.
And B.J. Thompson, we traded up for him in the 5th, and he's out. What? I don't understand the logic sometimes. But, okay, going on. You got special teams. Butker, Townsend, Winchester.
Check.
No competition here. Steve, what'd you think about Charles' roster? I think it was wild. I think it's something that makes you think a little bit. What's your least favorite part of it?
Man, I'll tell you, it's actually pretty good for the most part. I'd say 95%
Would you
good.
be pleased if the Chiefs actually kept that roster, or would you be a little disappointed? I would be disappointed. And I can tell you 2 moves.
Darian Kinnard's got to make the squad.
Darian Kinnard
100%.
would be a move I wouldn't like.
I would prefer Prince Teguanoga to be on there too for depth purposes. So that's just where I'm at. I think they take 9, and Caliendo doesn't quite make the cut. And then I don't think the way that they distributed the defensive backs, I feel like that's kind of up in the air, right?
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
My 2 moves would be I don't like Kinnard being off the roster again. I don't mind Niang. I don't think Caliendo. I love Caliendo. I've told you this. He's a dark horse to make it. I just don't see why you would do it. But he apparently thinks he's better than Kinnard. We'll see. I would rather have Kinnard because he does have the chance to play tackle as well.
Right.
But that's what I like, and I don't like seeing Truman Jones off the roster. I would cut Daniel Wise. Not Truman Jones, I'm sorry.
B.J. Thompson.
I'm sorry, B.J. Thompson.
Man, I was so confused. I was like, since when do you love Truman so much?
I seen your face. Yeah, I would come more cutting Daniel Wise here and bringing up Truman Jones. And why?
No, B.J. Thompson.
Sorry.
You don't want Harry S. Truman on the team. You want B.J. Thompson.
Hey, Harry S. Truman could be pretty good. Okay, yeah, I keep saying it, but B.J. Thompson. I like to see B.J. Thompson cut Daniel Wise. And the reason for that is because why do you really need another big guy like, Daniel Wise when you can have a pass rusher like B.J. Thompson? Because Spags is all the time throwing Malik Herring down,
right.
throwing Mike. Like, why do you need it? Turk Wharton can even go out and play defensive end if you need it. So they're so versatile.
Yeah. Well,
that's the thing with
that. That's the thing right there, man. Turk Wharton being healthy this season, actually being back on the field, makes a huge difference in this. Like, what good is Daniel Wise or Danny Shelton or any of those guys? Because if you have Turk, he's starting. He's starting alongside Chris Jones if he's healthy. And then you got Derek Nottie coming in on some run plays and, using his big old fatness to clog up some holes. That's just how it's going to be. But, we've already seen Spags is playing all kinds of games with this defense. Yeah. And we already know that he likes to move those guys up front around, and he'll put defensive ends in the middle. He'll put the defensive tackles out on the edges. He'll move them around wherever the hell he wants to confuse somebody and make a good defensive scheme. So, I don't know, man. I don't think Daniel Wise really has a shot. I think he's just playing the role of Chris Jones. It's almost like, when you play scout team.
Right,
and
that's what I
they'll
think.
make, you're going to be this guy. They did that to Wise. They were like, you're going to be Chris Jones.
Right.
But that's
you know what's crazy? I was looking up a stat on PFF today. A lot of people say, how's our pass rush going to be with Charles Omenihu? Everybody's so quick to think Omenihu's going to have a big breakout year.
He's had 5.5 sacks in his entire career. So.
No, I looked it up. It's 12. He had 5 last year. So he had 12.
I know.
But the thing is,
exaggerating.
Right. But the thing is, did you know Turk Wharton played the same amount of years, and he actually had to redshirt a year last year? And Turk Wharton, coming from the defensive tackle spot, 7 sacks. So, technically he's 5 sacks. So 1 year. Last year is why he was behind Omenihu. And everybody's so thinking Omenihu's going to break it out. Why can't Turk Wharton be the breakout this year? I think Turk Wharton's got that in him.
He does. I think Turk's always had that in him. It's just knee injury is a little scary, right? So we'll see how he bounces back from it. We'll see how he bounces back. He's a big dude. Knee injuries are kind of scary with big guys. But I think Turk's really good. I hope he stays healthy this year and plays a full season. And I think it'll be a good thing.
Either way, that was a pretty good roster by our boy Charles
Mr. Goldman.
Nate Taylor, I don't know about the article today, but man, you're scaring Chiefs Kingdom. You got us going crazy. It's crazy.
Nathan,
Everybody chill, though. Chris Jones, it's going to happen. It's going to be okay. Yeah. We got football coming up. By the way, we got a live tomorrow night, Saturday night tailgate. If you guys don't catch the lives, this is the one to do it because we're going to play the Saints on Sunday. And by the way, thanks for subscribing and clicking that bell. Go Chiefs.
Aside from my soul.